In the fast-paced world of reality television, most stars flicker out before the credits even roll on their season finale. But in 2026, one name is defying every industry standard: Jonathan Antoine. It has been over a decade since the shy teenager in the tracksuit shocked Simon Cowell. Yet today, he stands as a completely transformed figure, both physically and professionally. If you walked past him on the streets of London today, you might not even recognize the man who once became a viral sensation for his staggering operatic range. He has traded the nervous energy of his youth for a commanding, sophisticated presence that has seen him headlining global stages from the UK to the Middle East. But this isn't just a story about a kid who got famous. It is a story about a man who had to lose himself completely to find out who he actually was. As we look at his schedule for 2026, including his massive involvement in the Love Beyond concert series and his highly anticipated calendar release, it's clear that the tenor is no longer hiding in the shadows of his own reputation. He has emerged as a powerhouse of the classical crossover genre, but the path to this modern-day success was paved with obstacles that would have broken a lesser artist. The transformation we see today wasn't just a career choice. It was a necessity for survival in a world that didn't always understand his genius. But what exactly was the catalyst that changed everything for Jonathan? It turns out, the answer was hidden in his DNA all along, waiting for a moment of clarity that would change his life forever. For nearly 30 years, Jonathan Antoine lived in a world that felt slightly out of sync, a mystery that wasn't solved until a life-altering revelation just a few years ago. While the public saw his early performances as a battle with stage fright, the reality was far more complex. Jonathan was recently diagnosed with autism, a discovery that he says recontextualized every single second of his life. Imagine standing on a stage with millions of eyes on you, the bright lights searing into your vision, and the roar of the crowd feeling like physical blows to your skin. That wasn't just nerves. It was a massive sensory overload that he had been forced to mask since he was a small child. This diagnosis, which came in his late 20s, acted as the missing puzzle piece for his fans and for the artist himself. He has been incredibly vocal about this journey, describing the scary recontextualization of looking back at his BGT audition through a neurodivergent lens. It wasn't that he was afraid of the music. He was fighting a brain that processed the entire world differently. By 2026, he has become a leading advocate for the community, showing that being on the spectrum isn't a limitation to a global career, but a unique way of experiencing the art he creates. He's spoken about the daydreams and the mental fog that often accompanied his rise to fame, providing a raw, unfiltered look at the challenges of navigating the music industry while neurodivergent. This transparency has built a bond with his audience that goes far deeper than just music. However, as he began to master his mind, he realized there was another cage he needed to break out of, one that he had built around his own body as a defense mechanism. One of the most visually jarring aspects of Jonathan's 2026 persona is his incredible physical transformation, a journey that saw him lose over 120 pounds and completely reinvent his image. But don't be fooled into thinking this was about vanity or chasing a Hollywood aesthetic. Jonathan has been open about the fact that his previous weight was a literal shield against the world. Since the age of 4, he faced relentless bullying that left deep scars on his psyche, leading him to use his physical size as a way to hide from the pain of being seen. The decision to shed the weight wasn't just about diet and exercise. It was an act of shedding the trauma that had weighed him down for decades. By 2026, he has maintained this new physique, proving that his dedication to health is a permanent shift in his lifestyle. He's traded the oversized tracksuit of his youth for sharp, tailored suits that reflect the confidence of a man who no longer feels the need to hide. This physical evolution has also had a profound impact on his vocal stamina, allowing him to take on more demanding roles and longer concert sets than ever before. Yet, this change didn't come without its share of rumors. Tabloids and internet sleuths spent years speculating on how he achieved such a drastic change, with some suggesting radical measures, but Jonathan has remained consistent in his message. It was about mental clarity and choosing to live a longer, healthier life for the sake of his art. He has effectively silenced the critics by showing up year after year, looking and sounding better than ever. But as he conquered his personal demons, a lingering question remained in the minds of his original fans. What truly happened to the partnership that started it all? Even in 2026, you cannot mention Jonathan Antoine without someone bringing up the name Charlotte Jaconelli, his former singing partner who shared that legendary BGT stage with him. The duo was inseparable in the eyes of the public, but their decision to split and pursue solo careers remains one of the most talked-about breakups in the reality TV world. While both have maintained that the split was professional and that they simply wanted to explore different musical avenues, the total lack of public collaboration since then has fueled endless speculation about a deeper rift. Some insiders suggested that the pressure of being a package deal was stifling Jonathan's growth, especially as he began to find his own voice as a solo tenor. In 2026, Jonathan has firmly moved out of the shadow of that partnership, but he still speaks of those early days with a sense of respectful distance. He has successfully navigated the transition from one half of a duo to a standalone global brand, a feat that very few reality contestants ever managed to pull off. The rumors of a feud continue to circulate in fan forums, but Jonathan's focus has remained laser-pointed on his future. He's proven that he doesn't need a partner to fill a stadium, yet the nostalgia of that first audition continues to follow him like a ghost. He has handled the constant questions with a level of grace that shows just how much he has matured since the days of being a singing duo. However, behind the professional triumphs and the solo accolades, there was a period where the music almost stopped entirely, a dark era where Jonathan faced his most difficult internal battle yet. The road to 2026 wasn't a straight line of success. It was marked by periods of intense personal struggle that Jonathan has only recently begun to detail. There were times when the weight of his own mind became nearly unbearable, leading to a mental health crisis that threatened to derail his entire career. He has alluded to moments where he felt he might have to walk away from the spotlight entirely, as the pressures of fame collided with his late-stage diagnosis and his history of being bullied. While he avoids direct labels for the darkest of these moments, he has described a sense of being lost in the noise and struggling to find a reason to keep going. He's mentioned that there were times he felt he might off himself from the industry entirely just to find peace. These accusations of instability surfaced in the press during his quieter years, but Jonathan used that time to heal in private rather than spiraling in public. He sought the help he needed, leaning into his passion for music as a form of therapy. This period of disappearance was actually a period of profound reconstruction. By the time he re-emerged, he wasn't just a singer who had lost weight. He was a man who had reclaimed his mental sovereignty. His story has become a beacon for others who feel overwhelmed by the expectations of society, proving that even when the song seems to have ended, there is always a second act. But as he moved past the darkness, the world was waiting to see if the new Jonathan could still deliver the vocal magic that made him a star in the first place. And the answer came in the form of a 2026 comeback that no one saw coming. As we stand in the middle of 2026, Jonathan Antoine is arguably at the peak of his powers, with a career that looks more like a marathon than a sprint. His recent performances have been described as transcendent, with critics noting that his voice has gained a richness and emotional depth that was missing in his younger years. He isn't just singing the notes, he is telling the story of his life through every aria. His 2026 calendar and concert series have sold out in record time, proving that his fanbase is as loyal as ever, spanning across generations and continents. But what is truly next for the man who has already conquered his demons and the charts? Speculation is mounting about a potential move into major cinematic scores or a permanent residency in a global music capital like Las Vegas or London. He has hinted at working on a project that merges the digital world with the classical, potentially utilizing AI or immersive technology to bring opera to a younger, tech-savvy audience. Jonathan is no longer just a participant in the music industry. He is an innovator who understands that his story is his greatest asset. He has turned his struggles with neurodiversity and body image into a platform for change, ensuring that his legacy will be about much more than just a talent show audition. As he continues to evolve, one thing is certain. Jonathan Antoine is no longer the shy boy in the tracksuit. He is a titan of his craft, a survivor of the fame machine, and a man who is finally comfortable in his own skin. The world is watching to see what he does next, and if his past is any indication, it's going to be nothing short of legendary.